This is the Spartan Body and Mind Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Winterhalter. Today on the podcast, stretching your limits. How dynamic and static stretching can help you improve your athletic performance. Man, static and dynamic stretching. No one wants to stretch. Can we be honest? No one wants to stretch, but stretching has a place. And I'm going to speak on this because I need to be stretching more. In fact, I am right now, man. I have a really bad back injury. It is just a nuisance to me. It's a bother to me, and it is hindering my ability to work out well. And I keep getting told, you got to stretch. And so I am swallowing my medicine, and I'm doing a podcast on this to speak to myself and hopefully to some of you as well. Why static and dynamic stretching? What's the difference between them? What are they used for? How do I use them? How stretching can help you in your athletic performance. We want to see you become the best version of you. That's why we're here. Spartan Body and Mind Podcast is here to help men reclaim manhood. What does that mean? It means we're trying to help men become the best version of themselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally, so that you can actually pour out into your relationships and into your work and all the areas of life with health and vitality. It's time to man up. It's time to become the best version of you possible. So let's do that together. Part of that is stretching. Oh, I hate stretching, but I'm going to have to learn to love it, right? One of these things, just like eating healthy, you have to learn to love it. So let's talk about it. 4 things I want to share today. First, the difference. What is dynamic stretching? What is static stretching? Generally, dynamic stretching is like an energetic, it's kind of forceful, right? That's dynamic, just the word dynamic, energetic and forceful. It's a stretching that has movement to it, that has energy to it. Where static stretching is stationary, right? Think about it's a dynamic might be swinging my arms, right? You remember when we were in middle school and it was like shoulder swings or whatever this was, when you kind of, held your hands out to the side and you made circles with them. That's kind of like a dynamic stretching. Static stretching would be holding your arm across and holding it, right? Any kind of stretch that has a hold in it, that's more of a static stretching. So there's your difference. Now the uses are dynamic stretching are predominantly going to be pre-workout stretching. When you go into the gym, you're going to want to begin with some dynamic stretching. After your workout's over is when you want to do static stretching, when you want to do holds. You do not want to reverse this because, in fact, doing static stretching before you work out can actually lead to injury. In fact, maybe you've experienced this. I used to do, because I thought, when I first got into the gym, I can't remember, I'm trying to remember when this was. I was probably in my early 30s, mid 30s. I went back to the gym. I was always yo-yo. I'll come to the Oprah Winfrey. I'll gain a bunch of weight and then get back in the gym and lose a bunch of weight and back and forth. And I remember one time I went back into the gym and I thought I need to stretch more. And so I wanted to work on legs and grow on my legs. And so I started doing some static stretching. And I remember 2 times I don't know if I tore, but I injured my hamstring. And I was like, and it made me never want to stretch again because I'm like, why does this only happen when I stretch? Well, the problem was I was using static stretches before a workout, and that wasn't the best thing. I needed to be doing more dynamic. I needed to be doing like some leg swings and some things to open things up. That's really what dynamic stretching is about, is you're trying to open things up. Dynamic stretching improves your speed, your agility, your acceleration. This is what's loosening. It's what's warming up the muscles. So this is great, especially when you're going to warm up. When are you going to do like leg workouts, like a squat? You need to start with some mobility, start with some dynamic stretching. So I'll get down, right, and just do a squat. I'll be sitting in a squat and just kind of moving, getting my hips to loosen up, getting my ankles to loosen up, giving my knees, just my whole lower body. I'm trying to get flexible. I'm trying to kind of wiggle it around to get it moving and get it active so that then when I start to do a squat movement, my base is solid. Yes, the squat's going to focus on my quads. That's where I'm trying to focus on when I do a squat movement. Hams and the glutes are involved, but for me, I'm trying to work my quads in it. But if my hips aren't open, I'm not going to get down. I'm going to get stuck because things are tight down there. So that's where this dynamic stretching, right? Really thinking about your back and your legs, the squat, thinking about a deadlift, especially these big component movements, the complex movements, you want to make sure you're doing some dynamic stretching to really open your body up, to get it warm, to get it loose, so that you can actually perform those movements well. Then static stretching is really about, at the end of a workout, now I'm relaxing. I'm elongating the effect on a muscle, right? So that's why I'm holding. I'm trying to stretch out. I'm trying to really, this is where like a dead hang you've seen probably on Instagram and TikTok. Like, this is the popular thing. You'll hang from a pull-up bar and just let your body, your spine, like everything just kind of decompresses. Static. These are static holds. These are slow and controlled movements that are just really letting the body loosen up after you put it under tremendous force in that workout. So again, dynamic, beginning, pre-workout, loosening up, warming up, getting the body ready to lift. Think about that. Is this movement getting me ready to lift? Is it opening up, before a shoulder or chest workout, really opening up the chest, getting the shoulders warm. That's why, on a shoulder day, I'll go over and grab, 15-pound dumbbells and start doing side lateral raises. And just, I'm just trying to get blood in there. It's not a weight that, I would never, it's too light for me to use for side lateral raises, but I'm just getting blood. I'm just getting the movement going. I'm just shaking things up. This is where, in any kind of workout, while you might do, what's it called? What can I think? You're doing kind of a warm-up set, right? You're using a weight that's really easy, but you're just warming up the muscle. Just kind of getting the form dialed in, getting some pump, getting some flex going on in that particular muscle. So dynamic stretching, dynamic movements are really helping drive blood, helping just open. Think about that. Am I opening up? Am I tight? Where in my body am I tight? And what can I do to loosen things up so I can really be active? Because you are now going into athletic performance. To get the most out of your athletic performance, you need to be loose. You need to be ready. You can't be tight. Then at the end of your athletic performance, you want to cool down. You want to relax the muscle by stretching the muscle, because in those movements you can get tight again. In those movements you can put like after a shoulder. I did shoulders the other day, and my shoulders were just like, I just felt huge. All the blood was in there, and I just needed some static holds to just relax. Get the blood moving to other parts of my body again. So I hope that helps. And I hope that you're encouraged. Take the time. I'm speaking to myself, and I hope that I'm speaking to some of you as well. Those of us who do not stretch, figure out, do some research, hit up the old YouTubes. What's a quick dynamic stretching program I can do 5-10 minutes when I walk into the gym? At the end of it, what's a good static stretching movement that I can do, right? And one of the best things you can do is grab you a racquetball. Grab, the hard rubber balls, not as hard as a golf ball, but racquetball is great because it's still rubber, but it still has it's soft, but it has some it's hard, but it has some give to it. Go put that behind your back and go up to a wall and just, right. These are the foam rollers, a good, a static, holding, making sure you're really just relaxing those muscles after a good workout. So, there it is. You can search dynamic static stretching on the old Googles and see what comes up. Add that to your program, and I think you will see your athletic performance improve. Specifically, you want to see your weights go up. If you've kind of hit a plateau and you're like, man, how can I break through this? Why don't you try stretching? And I'd love to see if that actually helps you increase your lifts. All right, give us in the comments what your favorite dynamic or static stretch is. We'd love to, let's grow a list and help one another out. All right, this is Seth Winterhalter, Spartan Body and Mind. Until next time.